Listen to the show and peep what these dudes bring. If you didn't know, it's an orange and blue thing. Hope to win the championship and a few rings. We're talking baseball. It's an orange and blue thing. Walk off if the game's tied like shoestrings. It's a Mets podcast, orange and blue thing. Beat the other team with defense and a few swings. LFGM, it's an orange and blue thing.
What's up, Mets fans? As we were just about to go live, as our little video is playing there, I'm looking at Julie on the bottom of the screen, and she's covering her face, trying to compose herself, because for the second week in a row, we are doing a remote show because, why don't you let the people know why you're home this week? Because that's your business.
Okay. Well, first of all, last week, as we all knew, I had the stomach virus. I tested myself for COVID twice at home. Both tests were negative. On Monday, however, when I was eating dinner, I realized I couldn't taste it. So I took another COVID test and I am positive. And on top of all of that, Monday I was supposed to go to the Mets game with my boyfriend and my dog for Bark in the Park. So I was at his house where all my makeup is. So now I'm at my house with COVID and no makeup. So please make this a week you listen to the podcast instead of watching it, because this is brutal right now. So I'm very sorry to all who have to watch.
Well, I appreciate you powering through, of course. I mean, I said no pressure. I was like, hey, you know what? No big deal. We could always just either skip it or do something else, or, I could have.
Yeah. Had I realized prior to 20 minutes before we started this thing that I didn't have my makeup, I probably would have skipped, but whatever.
It's all good.
Here we are, all natural.
Honestly, for the most part, when people have COVID, they don't do anything. I mean, I'm sure people that have to, like, let's say they work remotely and they could still power through. But you are a business owner as well, so I'm sure it's pretty stressful. And I appreciate you spending the next hour hanging out here with us.
Because as always, a work crisis did hit, as it always does, seconds before we started this thing. So if I'm looking down at my phone, I also apologize. Listen to the podcast today. Don't watch it. Just listen.
No, you should watch it. Also, I want to let you know, Julia, that if the doorbell rings, I have to get up because I'm the only person here right now. So you might have to roll the show solo for a second if you happen to have to get up. But I think we should be okay. So, all right, guys. So 9-3, best record in baseball, a 29 run differential, the best in baseball. And unfortunately, some fans, I guess they're so programmed in their DNA to not get too excited. I mean, we were 11-1.
I'm one of them.
A lot of people are. We were 11-1 a few years ago, and we know what happened after that. So, the argument that I see a lot on Twitter, especially when a team starts off hot, especially our team, is the people who say, yeah, well, they're not beating good teams. Well, how do you explain yesterday then? Because the San Francisco Giants won 107 games last year. They just came off of winning 5 straight games before they got to Queens, and the Mets took both games with a doubleheader. So, what's the excuse now?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously it's a small sample size, but everyone said the Giants, this is going to be the first real test of the season. And it was. I mean, especially for Tyler McGill yesterday. He did not have his best start by any means, but he still powered through for, I think, 6 innings and, ended up at least getting a no decision out of that. So, yeah, I think it was a big test. It was I literally had a point when I was watching the game where I was like, damn, I think they're actually good. I never say that this early because I just like to condition myself to expect the worst and be pleasantly surprised, but they're undeniably fun to watch right now. So yeah, all good things.
Well, I mean, even last year, when it got to the end of the season, you and I both fully admitted that we weren't watching any baseball. I think on the last episode of last season, we were like, hey, did you watch any baseball this week? And we both said no. And we kind of just sat here and said, thank God the pain and misery is over,
Yeah, exactly.
And then you quickly realize when it starts to snow, you're like, man, I really wish I could watch any baseball right now instead of shoveling snow. And then you kind of dive for spring training. And clearly we know what happened with that this year with the whole lockout. So, shit happens, and the season is upon us. There are, back at there tonight with Bassett on the mound, and tomorrow with Cookie Carrasco. So, I put up a poll before this series started asking the fans how they were feeling about the next 4, what they, a little prediction. Let me see if I can pull it up here. because anyone who said that they weren't going to at least split was obviously wrong, but I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. So, yeah, you know what? They won the first 3 series. They are now at least going to split this series. So as long as you keep doing that, that's all you can ask for. You know, that every team in baseball is going to lose at least 50 or 60 games. It depends on what you do after that, you know?
Totally.
So when was Bark in the Park? Did they even have it?
No, it was supposed to be Monday, but it got rained out. So, I mean, I probably wasn't going to go at that point anyway, just because a Chihuahua in the rain at all, it's never a good combination. But there is another one, May 16th, for anyone who is interested. I will be going to that one. And I hope they rescheduled this one because they were both originally scheduled April 18th and May 16th. Hopefully this one gets rescheduled, but we will see.
I don't think our dog's ready for Bark in the Park. I think that she needs to be around. No, she has to be around like other dogs.
Crystal might need a year.
Yeah. We have to bring her around more and, you know, be around more people. The other day when my brother-in-law walked in the house, like she was barking at him, and then she just decided that she was going to just bark at me too for no reason. Like I'm sitting there, she's like confused, she's barking at both of us. I'm like, I live here, I feed you.
Listen, it happens sometimes when dogs get like territorial protective, they just see red and they don't know what they're doing. So
she barks at everybody. It's annoying. Yeah. So someone mentioned here in the comments that you got your new nameplate for the desk here.
I know.
Unfortunately, like the way that it's situated now with the camera angle, you can't see it, but I showed you a photo. It is now painted. So
it's
it looks
painted,
awesome.
It's beautiful, and it dwarfs Darren's. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Shu, you are the best.
Yeah. Well, I can't pull it up here now because I want to fuck with the camera angle. But yeah, my nameplate's from Fantasy Camp, if you guys don't know. And Julia's is now like twice this. It's this large. This is the sample, I guess, that Shu decided he was going to do another one and paint it. This is gigantic. It's twice the size as mine, which I'm totally cool with. You know, I don't have a complex at all about your name being larger than mine on the desks here. So that's totally cool.
Perfect.
So let us know where you're watching from in the comments. We are getting some comments here. A bunch of people saying that they hope you feel better, which is nice.
And also shout out to the person saying, I look like I need to shit.
Shit?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Someone said that a little bit up, but it's okay. Listen, a no makeup show with COVID after stomach virus. It's not the most outrageous guess in the world. It's fine.
Yeah, but that's a little rude. So David, come on, that's a little rude. All right, so we got Jefferson, Indiana checking in. Steven, how you doing down there? We got Louisville, Kentucky. So I like that we're hitting the South a little bit and, you know, a little bit west, I think, right? Indiana's in the center, so that's pretty cool. So I don't know. This is not obviously on our topic sheet here because we are not by any means a Yankees show, but can we finally put to rest the whole Cole, Scherzer, DeGrom? Did you see last night? I think they were in Detroit. He got booed off the mound from Yankee fans that happened to travel to Detroit, or maybe they live in Detroit. He made it just to like the second inning, and he got pulled from the game. I think he went one. A little. What did he do? What did he get into the second inning? I don't know. He gave up like 5 walks, 1 run, whatever it was, and gets yanked from the game. And Yankee fans were relentless to boo him, relentlessly booing him off the mound, which, you know, it just, I get in the off season when there's absolutely nothing else to talk about, you know, SNY or the Post or whoever, they need their clicks, they need their views, they need people to engage with on the internet, and they'll put up these stupid, you know, arguments to say who's the best pitcher in New York. And clearly at this very moment, it is not Garrett Cole. It could pretty much be any guy on the Mets roster is better than Garrett Cole.
Right. Exactly. Right. Okay. I mean, I don't think it was ever really a debate, though. I mean, to people who watched, no. I mean, listen, it's hard. Again, DeGrom hasn't pitched in, I think it will be a year by the time he actually does pitch again. So you can only talk so much shit, but like, you really don't need to when Garrett Cole's pitching the way he's pitching. So I don't know. I also don't give a crap about the Yankees. Like, I literally never did. The only investment I have in Garrett Cole is the fact that the media has come up with this like narrative of who's better, Cole or DeGrom. And like, I care about that because I care about Jacob DeGrom, but I don't care about the Yankees. I don't care about Garrett Cole. I don't care about their fans. Like, I mean, that's just me.
Right.
I'm over it. He sucks. Cool.
I don't care about the Yankees. I like kind of ruffling feathers with their fans just because it's fun. And like it's especially when you're friends with like a Yankee fan, like you're friends with, you know, Katie's boyfriend, Katie's fiance is a Yankee fan, July 16th, by the way, I think. So
let's go.
No way, am I correct on that?
Correct.
No
awesome.
way, I finally knew it. And I don't have that written down or anything, but
I'm very impressed.
I finally know your wedding date. I had to remember yesterday. I almost commit to something on the 16th.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did almost, and I looked it up. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I got a friend's wedding that day, so I had to let them down.
At least you finally wrote it down.
Yeah. Well, now I just know it. Now July 16th, we're having a big rager for Katie and Chris's wedding. So shout out to them. Speaking of hate and hating things and hating people and whatever, let me put this up for a second. Where is it? Share screen. Sorry, I should have done this before we started the show. Here we go. If you can see this, maybe you can't. The amount of hate that Francisco Lindor got last year and all offseason was incredible. Like, how much money are we paying this guy? He stinks, whatever. He's not built for New York, whatever. The poll I put up last night, were you wrong about Francisco Lindor? Yes, or absolutely. There was no option, because if you were on team Lindor, then clearly you just think this is funny and you wouldn't have voted. Right. So a couple thousand people did vote. That probably means that they were one of the haters. So crazy. Francisco Lindor is the man I hope that we should be seeing for the rest of his Mets career, which is going to be a very, very long time, as we know.
Long one.
Unless they trade him or whatever. But, if he does, last for the duration of his contract, he will be a Met for a very long time. So we should all want to be behind this guy. It's crazy. Agreed. When fans hate on their own players, like, instead of giving them support,
And the ones, especially the ones you're, not to say stuck with, are very grateful to have Lindor as long as you do. But also, I just what free agent ever came to the New York Mets and immediately thrived? For the most part, there's always kind of an adjustment period. I feel like, I don't know what the science is behind it, if it's just adjusting to New York and the media and the fans, who knows what it is, but give him time. I feel like most logical people knew he cannot sustain being that bad with how good of a player he is. So I don't know. It's not shocking, but thank God.
He didn't have a full year slump, but Piazza started off slow.
Beltran started off bad too.
Beltran as well. Francisco had spurts of greatness last year, but I feel like when the whole thumbs down thing happened and Baez was here, and they kind of maybe some bad vibes rubbed off on him. I don't know, whatever it was, but I feel like the page is turned. It's a new leaf. Him and McNeil are thriving right now.
Yes.
And I feel like you have a theory about that. It's over and done with, and that's why the bad blood's out of the way. Now they're both great, or what?
I don't know. It could just be a beautiful coincidence, but I have to imagine any kind of riff. Oh God, the full screen is skipping me out. I imagine any kind of riff between any teammates is going to, one way or another, translate on the field. Both McNeil and Lindor did not have anywhere close to their best seasons last year, both in the field and at the plate. So I think both of them being as on as they are. Now, Lindor has been kind of, he's had some great plays in the field, but I also feel like he's made a few more errors than we're usually used to seeing from him. But otherwise, they've been pretty solid all around, and they're thriving. And I think that matters, that they're both playing well. I think those two together are very important to the Mets' overall success. Obviously, Pete Alonso has to be good. Obviously Lindor, obviously Starling Marte, the big names. But Jeff McNeil, I feel like, is so important. He was such a good hitter. And what was it, 2019? Was that the big year he had?
Yeah, he was an all-star.
Yeah. You got to get him back to the way he was, because he was huge. So.
Well, speaking of, certain times when you're watching a game and a certain player might have either an error or a bonehead move or whatever, and then they come in the next inning and they come through. And that's almost happened last night. If you know why Pete Alonso is in this stretch, that was because of a bad throw from Lindor. And this was in the 10th inning. Obviously, the Mets needed this out. And I don't know if you were watching the game, but if this was not an out, then the Giants would have went up 5-4. And instead, this was called an out. It ended the inning, and then Lindor came in and was the hero of the day. So, it's funny how things happen and, work out in our favor. And thanks to replay, the Mets got away with that one, which is great.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. I love that picture too. His face, all of it. It's so good. Do you see athlete logos made the neon. The shit? Yeah, the neon of that. Yeah. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I noticed also in the ballpark, it was probably like one of my favorite new additions to the. I just love the neons. I mean, I think you're in the neon shirt, right?
I'm wearing the neon shade right now.
Yeah, so the neons, I just have such a strong connect. It's weird to have like a connection to like neon lights, but as a kid, whenever you would drive by Shea, even on a non-game day, I'm almost positive the lights were always on. And similar to like the fountains at the Flushing Meadow Park, they're not always on, but on the nights where they are, it was cool where you would like drive by and you can kind of see the fountains when you're going down the Grand Central, and then the lights from Shea would be on. So like the Shea neons are something that I always remember from my childhood, like driving by the ballpark or down that area of Flushing. So if you notice next time you're at a game, I don't know if you noticed this, but
I did.
All the new additions to like the Samsung screens, which are now everywhere. They updated the graphics, and next to the batter, it'll have a neon batter. Next to the pitcher, it'll be the neon pitcher, which is cool. And they updated like all the fonts and stuff. Like the visuals in the ballpark are great. Some people were like mentioning that they didn't really like all the font selections. I can't remember who it was.
Maybe I didn't like that. I think it was me.
Maybe it was you. You're like, oh, I don't like it looked like handwriting for like the ERA or.
Oh no, I don't know about that, but just whatever font they were using for the players' names, it just like looked very like not Mets. Not
Gary and Ron were saying that like the number 5 on the broadcast of the day, they were showing the scoreboard, and the number 5 kind of looked like an S. They were a little confused by it. I mean, they know it's a 5, but like it didn't really look like a 5. But whatever. I mean, sometimes less is more, but I really like the new neons.
Same.
You've also noticed that initially it was called the Pepsi. No, what was it called? The Party City deck. And then they changed it to the M&M sweet seats, I think. And now I don't think they're called anything. I don't think it's branded because
M&Ms are gone.
Well, are they gone by the bridge too?
I didn't check by the bridge.
You remember like by the bridge there was like 2 seats and you could sit next to like an M&M.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but they're gone from the deck, whatever they're calling it now.
Right. Well, I don't think the deck has it. I think it's just called like the deck or whatever. But the wall behind where the branding used to be is now screens. So like this screen's pretty much everywhere in the ballpark. And it's funny, like, well, maybe it's not funny if you have a problem, but now that gambling is so, in our faces, I'm sure you noticed when you're sitting in the stands, I don't know what inning it was, but every single screen in the ballpark said bet now. Said bet now, bet now, bet now. It was crazy. Like everything. Like if you look left, like where we were sitting in the Big Alp Reserve, you look left towards the bullpen, the entire screen up against the front of the Shea Bridge just said like bet now. It was huge. And
it's a new era.
Yeah. I mean, if you're either like an alcoholic or a gambler, like a compulsive gambler, a ballpark is probably a really hard place for you to go.
For sure. Yeah, that definitely didn't make things easier for those kinds of people, but I mean for you who has been full throttle embracing sports betting,
not anymore.
It's gotta be awesome.
I haven't gambled since Saturday.
Wow.
Did you know what
that's big for you?
Well, do you know what my experiment was? Did I ever tell you this?
No.
All right, so the first day that gambling became legal in early January, I put $50 in a DraftKings account, and I was like, all right, sitting around, it's January, I'm not doing anything else, I'll just gamble, watch games and $50 from January until Saturday. So gambled every day. I gambled every day, like $5 here, $10 here, whatever. But I was up and down, up and down. And then I took.
So you were using the money that you were winning to like.
Yeah, I never put more money in. I put $50 in to start and never put more money in. And I got to 3 months of entertainment. Yeah, over 3 months.
So you ran out.
No, I put all the rest of my money that was in the account on the Mets to win the World Series. Now my balance is at 0.
Wow.
So I have
May I ask how much that was?
I have pending bets in there, but I didn't lose any money. I just don't have any money left. So either I have to put more money in to keep gambling or just don't gamble anymore. And if the Mets win the World Series, I win money. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Okay. I think that was a fun little experiment.
Yeah. If we get a gambling sponsor, then of course I'm going to gamble every day. But yeah, I hear that the M&M seats are gone from Lucho on the bridge. And so did Rebecca Graziano. The seats are gone. All right. So no more M&M seats. If you really are a big M&M fan, I guess you're upset, but I don't really think that really matters much.
I'm a big M&M fan, but I mean, I don't know how much I care about their stadium presence.
The wrapper or the food?
Oh, the food. I mean, the wrapper too, but like more so the food.
Okay. So now that we're talking about food, I don't know if you could see my shirt.
I was going to ask, what is this?
This
I
is a
love
new
it.
one. Do you see the
It's
background?
good.
Can you see the background of the screen right now behind us? Like all the
Yes.
different things. So that's
Uh-huh.
all food, right? That's all food from the
Right.
ballpark. So this is our second version of button-up shirts from Graphics Joker. The initial one was the Shea in City Field. We called that Party Time. I think there was a beer on that one and a hot dog. We brought the hot dog in for this one as well because this shirt is called the Fan Feast instead of Fan Fest.
Ooh.
This shirt's called the Fan Feast. So there's all different colors. I am wearing the light blue one, which I don't know if that's going to be like super popular, but I just like it.
I love it. I love that color.
It's got cotton candy on it. It's got a Met soda cup. It has the nachos in a helmet. It has the actually, you know what? I'll show you this one. I got other colors here too. So I'm wearing the light blue. There's an orange version and there's a gray version. I didn't want it to be super similar to the initial Party Time one, only because, you know, so many people have those already. So the graphics on this one are a lot bigger, just so it doesn't, it's not like, oh, I already have that all over shirt. I don't need this one too. So I'll see if you can see, like, this is the fabric. So there's like the nachos, the soda cup, the popcorn, the pretzel.
Oh, I love the ice cream too.
The ice cream. Yeah, that's awesome. The home run apple ice cream.
Awesome.
I'm kind of messing up here. Let me turn this around. See if you can see. There it is. See it?
So cool.
Yeah, so he killed it on this one. So these are coming out soon. And this is kind of just a little sneak peek. There's another one here that I want to show you guys quickly that is going to get slightly tweaked because we had to change a couple things. But this one is, I don't know what it's going to be called. Maybe like Queensboro or something like that. So it's black. It has all the different street signs. So Seaver Way, Roosevelt Ave, Shea Road, a train. It's not the 7 train because we can't put 7s on trains without paying MTA. So this is another one. And those are going to come out, I don't know, a couple months from now. So
cool.
That's the story. So if you guys happen to notice the little subliminal change in the background for this year's show, that's why. Okay, so did you happen to go see the Tom Seaver statue?
I didn't get too close of a look. So I didn't get to the game on Saturday because I had to work a little bit until like the 4th inning. So as I was walking in, it was like empty, which is crazy because like all weekend long it was packed. So I saw it somewhat from afar. I was trying to rush to get to my seats. I didn't see it the day it was unveiled though. Did you end up stopping by on your way in?
Absolutely not. I saw a photo that Tacoma put up. Let me see if I could scroll back here so I could show people who happen to miss it.
They still had like the gates up and everything too, which are now down.
No, they're now down. Yeah. On Saturday, I think they were down, or maybe Saturday after the game, they were down. Understandably, they don't want people to get too fired up and climbing on the thing, you know?
Yeah.
So the first day, I think that they were up. And then after that, I think they came down. But yeah, if you happen to go out there on Friday for the opener, you may have been in this sea of people, which is, it was insane. So Anthony DiComo, I guess, took this from upstairs, like where the what is it called? Whatever that club is, the Piazza Club.
Right.
So the Piazza Club, and I retweeted this saying that it looked like Woodstock because that's freaking crazy. So thousands upon thousands of people were out there waiting for the unveiling. And if you happen to listen to the Mets Up podcast that we now brought on with Mark and James, Mark was tailgating with us. Giraffe Neck Mark, but James went over there to watch with his dad, and I was watching the show yesterday that they put up, and he said that you know, people were kind of, you know, up against the barricades waiting for the ceremony to start, and like everyone who would walk by, like whether it be Gary Cohen or Piazza, like the crowd would go crazy. But when they did the ceremony, the actual ceremony, and the speakers spoke, and you know, I'm sure Howie was great. I wish there was a place, maybe there is, I could rewatch the whole thing. I haven't seen it. But he said there were grown men like weeping in the stands, in the crowd, for just like maybe they were either huge Seaver fans or maybe they were touched emotionally from you know, seeing his wife there, or maybe that Tom wasn't there because the Mets dropped the ball for so many years on getting this done. But you know, that's pretty cool. I mean, I wish I could have been at both, but there's no way for me to like organize the tailgate and walk over there and, you know, miss the whole thing. So
although it wasn't for me to be in that kind of crowd, and thank God I wasn't, because apparently I COVID. But I don't know if I had that.
But it's maybe so did Steve Gelbs.
I know. Maybe Steve Gelbs gave you COVID. I don't know. But I also, it's very nice that he did have that crowd there. Obviously, you know, he wasn't there, but it was nice that that crowd showed up for him, even though most people probably couldn't see much. It is a very nice touch that many people showed up the way they did. It's what he deserved. It's what his family deserved. So, Oh, did you see somebody said the whole ceremony is on the Mets
Yeah,
YouTube?
I'm just about to
There you
pull that
go.
up. Candace on YouTube said that the whole ceremony is on the Mets YouTube, so I appreciate that. This is the
Perfect.
best part about having the comments live and us
The
doing the show
fact
live.
checkers.
Well, there's two good things about the show being live. I don't have to edit anything afterwards. It
Yeah.
goes right up and we're done, except for the
Done.
sound. And then also having people check in the comments, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And it's every time we mess something up, they could just tell us. We don't have to we don't have to redact anything later or retract anything later. They can just tell us
right
there. We can correct ourselves right away.
You were nervous in the beginning when we would go live, right?
Oh my God. I was so intimidated by this entire thing. I think a lot of it is because I was replacing Pete McCarthy, who's like an actual pro who does this for a living. And like, who the hell am I? It was so intimidating at first. I remember the first day I came, I like printed out like stats. Like I needed to know things about the Mets to do this as if we ever talk about the Mets.
Yeah, but Pete on the show, it was different. Like, not that I wanted Pete to change by any means, but he knew that this wasn't SNY, you know? So like,
right.
We didn't have to be so, you know, X's and O's or whatever. Like we would have discussions where like we're talking about him running like half marathons and stuff, you know, like
right.
It was fun. We had a good time with it, and I hope he's doing great. So yeah. So anyway, the ceremony, I didn't know this. I'm going to get into this, and I want your honest opinion if I'm wrong, and I want you to feel like you could. We're in the nest, we're in the trust tree here, and let's just pretend the camera's off for a second because you have COVID right now. I had COVID in December. I am fully vaccinated. My entire house is fully vaccinated.
As am I.
For the most part, I think that last year when they had the pod seating and the restrictions on the ballpark where you couldn't go unless you were vaccinated, I only know, this is the God's honest truth, I only know of 3 people that couldn't go to games last year because either they chose not to be vaccinated or they couldn't get vaccinated for whatever health reasons that they had. 3 people. Right. So when the mayor came out last month or whatever and announced that the entertainment industry is now exempt from the rules and they don't need to be vaccinated in order to entertain on Broadway or, you know, be athletes in the state of New York. So Kyrie could play, and I think Aaron Judge is not vaccinated, and I think that Nimmo is or isn't, I don't know, but whatever the case may be, all of these players could now work, or these entertainers could now work and get back to their normal lives and collecting a paycheck and entertaining us, right?
Right.
So I guess I didn't see it, but I guess during the ceremony, which I definitely disagree with this part, there were people protesting that the city workers can't work. Okay. Well,
at the Tom Seaver ceremony?
That's what I heard. I didn't see it. This is what I heard after the fact, right? So they had signs or whatever. They weren't protesting the Seaver ceremony. They were just kind of trying to get on TV or get in the back of SNY.
Not the time or place.
No, I don't think that's the time or place for it. I think if you want to protest, you want to stand on Roosevelt Avenue, whatever it is, don't ruin the ceremony for other people. Yeah. But when I got inside the game, there was someone in our section that had the sign that said, Mayor Adams, let them work. And that means the beer vendors or, you know, city workers, sanitation, police, fire, whatever, all these people who cannot work, but Nimmo and these guys can, right? Right. So I posted a photo on the Seven Lines Twitter of that sign, and I wrote just the word yes. And I feel like me writing that to the internet seems like I'm this anti-vaxxer and I'm telling people that we're anti-vaccine, which is not what I'm saying at all.
I know what you meant. It perhaps needed a little more clarification than just yes, because you are talking to the internet, and the internet.
Well, I did. I followed it up after the fact.
Interpret yes to mean whatever they want it to mean to fit however they feel about you.
Right.
It doesn't really matter what you meant unless you explicitly say this is exactly what I meant. And for the record, I completely agree with the fact that if we're going to let the millionaire, billionaire athletes play unvaccinated, that, yeah, the middle class working people should also be able to keep their jobs if they're not vaccinated. Personally, I would love if everyone was vaccinated. That's my stance on it. I think if you are medically able to get vaccinated, it is not dangerous to your health, and you can and you're able, you should. But if we're going to let the athletes have the privilege, which really it's just to make more money. And that's the other thing about it. It's not like all of the fans need to be vaccinated either.
None of the
you have a stadium full of fans who are unvaccinated, but the beer vendor doesn't have to be, but the athletes can be. I get that. That doesn't make logical sense. That's just performative at that point. So I agree. It needs to be all or nothing, one or the other, regardless of how you feel about it. My personal stance is people should be vaccinated, but regardless of how you feel, it should be one or the other. This in between, it makes no sense. It's not logical.
That is exactly what I was trying to say. But I mean, how much can you get off in a tweet? So as I'm walking through the ballpark, 25 people deep on the Shea Bridge, and I'm like, wait a minute, like Joe Schmo beer vendor can't be here right now. You and I can be. We're both vaccinated.
Right.
You and I can be, but no one at the front gate is telling us wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart. Are you vaccinated? Show us your Excelsior pass. None of that. That's all gone. So if all of that is gone, then why can't the beer guy work? And I said beer guy, I mean, whatever. I didn't even see a beer guy in our section, but you know what I mean? Anyone. Why can't these people work? But Lindor can't, not Lindor, Nimmo or Judge or Kyrie, these people can play. So my whole thought process behind this is be all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like if the rule still standed where they had to be vaccinated or couldn't play, I'd be like, okay, that's the rule. But now that they can play, then everyone should be able to work. It's either all or nothing.
I agree. And I will say, like, when I saw your tweet, because you and I talked about it after the game, and before I saw it, like, I know you and I know how you feel about things.
We've been talking about this for 2 years.
Yeah. So, like, I was kind of confused because, honestly, on first read, just seeing, yes, it is open to interpretation, and you're not kind of sure. I could totally see someone who doesn't know you, who doesn't know your thoughts on the whole situation, taking that as an all sort of, like, anti-vax, let people work regardless kind of stance thing. I get that. But I also know you, and the explanation you gave was just very logical, and I don't know how people can really disagree with it because it just
well, you know what?
Lesson learned. The internet needs more clarification. I think
you know what it is, but people like you said, people who don't already like don't already like me or don't like the 7 line will see something like that and run with it and just be like twist it into whatever they want to get out there. But did you happen to notice when Nimmo came into the game yesterday, the ovation he got from the crowd?
I didn't hear when he came in because he came in like at the start of the inning, right?
He came a double switch. So was it Buck being Buck again? Like he found some kind of loophole to get him in the game.
Right. And I was more focused on Gabe Kepler like freaking out about that than listening to the crowd.
For Gabe Kepler to think he knows anything more than Buck Showalter is laughable. But anyway, so when this is just me venting a little bit about like hypocrisy, right? So Nimmo comes in the game, everyone's cheering and getting excited. So is anyone mad that Nimmo was playing? Because if you're going to be mad that or think that people shouldn't work because they're not vaccinated, but then on the same breath cheer for Nimmo when he comes in the game, isn't that really a little hypocritical?
I will say, like, I do see people extremely critical of Brandon Nimmo on the internet.
Oh yeah, of course.
Person,
when he comes in the game and wins, does something great for us, then you're going to clap for him.
Then you also you can't even judge the crowd. You don't know the opinions of the people cheering. I don't know. I think it's fair. Again, like there are certain things with athletes where it's like, you know, it's worth judging them as human beings to not root for them and things that, you know, are kind of a little more up to your interpretation. I think the vaccine thing falls on a spectrum for certain people. It's a bigger deal to others than it is to some, and that's fine. Again, I would love if all of the Mets were vaccinated and safe and healthy, but I don't like, again, because of all of the exemptions that have been made for athletes, it doesn't seem like that's a thing that's being forced to happen. So it kind of just is what it is. And we are. And again,
we don't know if he is or isn't. I mean, someone in the comments.
Right. We don't know. It's only speculation.
I'm just using him as an example because when they were down at spring training and they were talking about the whole if you can't play in New York, they were talking to him a lot. So either the press or the media thinks that he's not or whatever. But my whole thing is be all or nothing. Don't be hypocritical. If they can play, everyone should be able to work and end a story, especially since we don't need to show anything to get into the ballpark.
I think it would be very different if it was the fans all had to be vaccinated as well. And there was still that like strict like distance between players and fans. But like players are signing autographs and interacting with fans. All of that's going back to normal. And the fans don't have to be vaccinated. So who is that for? You know, it's all of these vendors are also, you know, interacting with all of these fans. I don't know. I agree. Again, would love if everyone was vaccinated, but it doesn't make sense to have rules for some of the stadium, but not all of the stadium.
Great. So I'm glad we're on the same page. And you know what? Like a lot of times when things happen and like, let's say I like fuck up on the internet or write something stupid and I'm like, oh, just let it die out or whatever. But like, I feel like on this, I almost do have to defend myself because we're not anti-vaxxers. I'm not telling, I'm vaccinated. Like everyone I know is pretty much vaccinated. Like, and not to mention last year, like I said, when you had to be vaccinated to go to games, I only know like 3 people that couldn't go to games out of hundreds of people that sit with us. So anyway, the Satellite Army is not anti-vaxxers. You know, I feel like everyone should just have the fair right to work right now. Anyway, moving on. Did you happen to see, this is funny, like for the Mets to be on TMZ. Did you know this? Did you see this yesterday? No. So the Mets were on TMZ and it actually wasn't for anything bad. MLB star.
Oh, I did see this story though.
Yeah. He wanted his number 6 so badly when he signed with the Mets that he gave McNeil a Rolex. And Rolexes could be up to like 6 figures. So I guess when you're making like almost 80 mil off this Mets deal, what's an extra like 100 grand? But I think one of the reporters, maybe it was DeComo, asked, I don't know if he said like how much is it, but he's said something like, oh, it's a really nice watch, and like smiled or winked or whatever. So like McNeil basically got like 100 grand to give up his jersey number.
Not a bad deal. Especially when you haven't gotten your own contract yet. Not a bad deal at all.
Yeah.
Good for Maybe that's why he's so happy lately.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why he's playing so well.
And now he's number 1. So he took
Jordani Valdespin. I know it was Ahmed Rosario before, but it'll always be Jordani Valdespin.
Yeah, I'm the man right now. So yeah, that's nice to see that. You know, I mean, I guess it's nice to see for him. It means nothing to me that he got $100,000 watch, maybe. But so yeah, I wrote down a few random things here that I wanted to get your opinion on. Number 1 being Taylor Swift has a species named after her. Did you notice that?
I saw the headline and literally laughed out loud and was like, I can't even entertain this. I'm gonna keep scrolling.
So I guess
I didn't even look at it.
In Tennessee found or discovered like a new centipede and named it like the Swiftie or something like that.
Yeah, she said something like she was such a big Swiftie and like Taylor's music had such an impact on her life that she wanted to, as a tribute to her, name some sort of insect after her, whatever.
Yeah.
God bless.
Whatevs. So I know you've been a little under the weather the past couple of weeks, especially now. Have you been able to send out your t-shirts yet for your t-shirt quilt?
No, I really haven't. And mostly because I was, for the most part, I was supposed to be going to the Mets game Monday night. I was at my boyfriend's house when I found out I had COVID. So I've really been quarantining there. No, he's been taking tests nonstop and he doesn't have it yet either. So
all right, great.
Good for him. I mean, I'm sure it's coming, but whatever.
So when you get around to it, yeah, I can't wait to see it. Your 2015 Mets t-shirt quilt from Project Repat. So if you don't know about Project Repat, I don't know where you've been. You obviously haven't been watching the show the past 2 years. So projectrepat.com, check them out. Over 500,000 happy customers dating back to 2012. They've been in the game a long time, pretty much as long as us. And what they do is they take your old t-shirts, cut them up into squares, and turn it into a t-shirt quilt. They have the lap size, the twin, the full, the large throw, the queen. I think Rebecca Graziano was saying to go with either the full or larger, just because I think the squares get bigger and they don't have to cut off any of the logos. Mm-hmm. So check them out. Great idea for you to recycle your old t-shirts. Maybe you gained weight, maybe you lost weight, maybe you got a hole in your favorite shirt and you don't wear it anymore. So you can send them your shirts. They cut them up, sew them up, and send them back to you. And they start at just $75. But if you use our promo code, which is the number 7 LINE22, you can get 30% off, which is a great deal. So check out their site, projectrepat.com. They have a gallery. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see some of the examples of their other happy customers. And they also have a commercial there if you want to watch that as well. So check them out. Great friends of the show. And we sell a ton of t-shirts a year, or maybe you go to an outing with us and you get a t-shirt with that. So do something with them. And yeah, I'm sure you'll love it. So I can't wait to see yours.
Same. I'm very excited. I feel like the day I actually have it is going to feel like not real. I've been talking about it for so long. But I will. That will be my first healthy task is I will send out those damn t-shirts and get my quilt.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. So bigger MVP so far for you. Do you think it is Buck or Hefner?
It's hard. It's not like an easy argument to make. I feel like you have to go Hefner just because who thought this starting pitching would be as good as it was? Like prior to the doubleheader yesterday, and this could be wrong, I think Scherzer was like the only starter who had like given up runs or something like that. Like, or he had given up the most runs of any starters, which is insane. So you have to give some credit to Hefner there for at least getting, and like, I think McGill might have been, but Peterson was not even supposed to make the team, I don't think, out of spring training, and to have him be as productive as he's been, awesome. I mean, Buck also, that play, I didn't see this happen live. I watched the replay of it. But that play with J.D. Davis stealing when they were trying to appeal
that was Sunday,
third,
yeah.
I have never seen that before, like done in
I
a
didn't know
major
that
league
was a
game.
thing.
Yeah, me either. And done so successfully, and like something that they all knew to do because they specifically practiced it in spring training because Buck Showalter said to. So
if you happen to miss it, let me just give you a quick rundown. So J.D. Davis was on first. Dom Smith left third to score, and the D-backs, right? D-backs, yeah, thought that maybe he had left early, so they went to appeal it. The Mets weren't exactly sure if they were going to win the appeal, even though they would have anyway. And there wasn't 2 outs, so it wouldn't have ended the inning. So there's like, fuck it, let's just give up J.D. Davis, have him run to second, and if they try to tag him out, then the play is dead, and they can't appeal because that, like, they can only appeal if nothing else happens between the appeal and the first pitch of the next batter.
Right.
So they just sent Davis, and then everyone was confused. He ended up being safe at second, and Dom Smith scored. So it was excellent.
When and Oliver Perez was on the mound, which made it that much better. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. I can't believe he's still playing.
It's insane. It's wild that he is still playing baseball, but God bless. Good for him. When we were sitting out in the section on Saturday, Friday, whenever it was, and you see him sitting in the bullpen, like he looks like one of the coaches. He is so much visibly older than all of the other bullpen pitchers.
How old is he? Let me look it up. I wonder if he's older than me.
I'm pretty sure he's 40.
So he's younger than me then. He's grayer.
He's played for 20 years. I remember it was an even year. He's been playing for 20 years, but he
will be 41 this August 15th. So I'm older than him by a little bit.
Imagine if you were just playing Major League Baseball right now instead of doing this.
You
think your body could handle that?
I can't imagine that. No.
Crazy.
Well, yeah, I think it could. I mean, well, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, so today I was
fantasy camp MVP talking there.
Absolutely. See the freaking. I got the lineup card behind me that says MVP right on it.
I know. We all know.
Yeah. So I happened to be browsing the Mets website today, and I saw this little deal here, which I didn't know was a thing. Maybe you could tell me if you knew about this already. The Amazing Mets Pass. Did you see this? It's $75 a month, unlimited games.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah. I mean, it says there's some like blackout. There's some dates that like you can't go, but like if you look at it now, if you're watching live, this is on the Mets site. So it's called the Amazing Mets Pass, presented by Coors Light. I don't know why it's presented by them, but $75 a month. Includes a ticket to every regular season game. There's this little asterisk there. I guess there's some blackout dates. Maybe in like August you can't go to the Subway Series or something like that.
Yeah, it says down there the dates you can't go. So I'm assuming
okay. So at 4:15 that was opening day. I don't know what 7-9 is. Is
that the Keith Hernandez game?
Keith Hernandez retirement.
Yeah.
Then the 26th and 27th the Subway Series. So yeah, those are the only exclusions. So if I was still living in Queens, like I was going to games back in the day, hanging on the Shea Bridge anyway, $75 to get in every single game is unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did something similar to this. I want to say right before the pandemic. I think they did this in 2019. I'm happy they brought it back. But it says it's standing room. You don't even get a seat out of it. I guess I get it. They can't guarantee seats to people.
$75. That's like going to one game in a seat. So the thing that you can do here is, you see this though? A complimentary upgrade to a ticketed seat for one Monday through Thursday game per month. Right. So for right there is you're pretty much set. Well, who knows where they're going to stick you. But honestly, I'm not telling anyone to go, buy this and skirt the rules here. But you could pretty much sit in like the 300 or 400 level on a regular day without a ticket to the 300 or 400 level. So buying this just to get in the door, hang out with your friends, get something to drink or eat on the Shea Bridge, and then go up and sit somewhere.
Well, I will say, like any weekday game, I'm really upset. My entire family, my brother and his fiance are up from North Carolina, and my entire family, like 10 of us, were supposed to go to the game tonight. We got nice seats in section 110. I had bought them all on my credit card, and now I can't go because I have COVID. Whatever. But they were only like something like $22 a ticket for like nice field level seats. So, I mean, I guess to me that's why it doesn't seem like such a great deal. Only because like I couldn't see myself. I don't live close enough to be going that often. I guess if you do, it's different. But I'd rather just like I go on TickPick again. I don't know why they won't come on as a sponsor at this point because I talk about them all the time. But it's the best. There's no taxes or fees. You can literally, and especially weekday games or just any like non Subway Series or big advertisement for whatever, and you can find dirt cheap, good seats. So I feel like that's what I would stick to.
So this pass is not new. You're right. I guess they did do it in years past. But
I feel like
Dave,
it's cheaper too. I might have made that up.
Dave checks in and he said it used to be 36 for the month.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much double now. But I mean, the Mets are a better team.
That's true. They are a better team.
So yeah, I was actually looking at some tickets for last night. I wanted to go. I still think the best seats in the ballpark are right in front of the WFN, not the FN, 880 and SNY booths in the 300 level. It's incredible because you get a little bit of a break from the wind. If it's a super hot day, you're kind of in the shade. But last night I looked at the weather and I was going to bring Amelia and Kelly was going to come, obviously. And when the weather was calling for like high of 40 something and windy at night, I was like, I'm not going to, I could grin it bear, but I don't want to put Amelia through that and then have to like leave early, you know?
She's still at such a delicate age where you don't know if she's going to love baseball or like as like her teenage rebellious phase, she decides to hate baseball just to spite you. And you can't have that working against you. You cannot drag her out into like 35-degree weather.
How about the all you can eat promo? You saw that one? So there's another ticket. It's $60, all you can eat during the game. It starts 1 hour before first pitch and goes to like the fourth inning. But it's
all of the restaurants, all of the everything in the
there's like certain locations. So I bet you can get like burgers, dogs, pretzels. You can get soft drinks.
Shake Shack.
You can't get alcohol.
That's not Shake Shack. Can I get a milkshake and a burger?
You could probably get a milkshake. I don't think you can go to like Shake Shack. Also, like honestly, at the $60 and you have to wait on the line to go get the food, how much food can you possibly eat in 4 innings to make it worth it? You know?
I mean, I think this sounds nicer than it really is. If it was Shake Shack, maybe. Because like I'll drop $60 at Shake Shack, no problem.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can't go up and get like the entire menu. It's probably like, all right, you're one person, you can get one drink, fries, and a burger, and then you have to go up again. So I don't think it's worth it. I don't think I could eat 60
if you're there as like
all in the game.
Yeah. If you're there as a family, maybe it's nice.
So I brought this up yesterday on Twitter because I didn't happen to see even one vendor come down in our section on Friday or Saturday. There was no water, no popcorn, no pretzels, no beer, nothing. So now I think they did this last year as well. Last year was different. There was more restrictions. On the Shea Bridge, at the top of the Shea Bridge, like near our section, there's like rolling carts where they sell beer or like the seltzers or whatever they happen to be selling that day. But I didn't notice even one come down in the stands. And I wrote it on Twitter asking like if anyone else noticed, and pretty much everyone said they didn't see the entire homestand so far. So I don't know if it's like gone forever or they want people to just get up and stand on these lines. But
is that just our section or any section? They're not going down.
Any.
Really?
Yeah, I put up a tweet yesterday. Let me see if I could find it. And there's not one reply that I saw of someone saying like, yes, we saw food vendors. So I think they're really pushing you to like go wait online. And I don't do that. Like I didn't wait on one line on Friday or Saturday. I did have 2 beers in the ballpark. Thanks to Lucho got me one and my buddy Kevin got me one. But not that I even asked them for it. They came down and like, here's a beer, you know? But when I go get up from my seat, I'm usually running to the bathroom and coming right back to watch the game, you know? So I wrote, I wrote this tweet and there's a bunch of replies here and I don't see one person saying that anyone came to our sections or any sections. So I don't know if it's over forever or what the case may be, but I may never eat or drink in the ballpark ever again.
I know. Honestly, it's not worth when I get my Shake Shack, like I get into the stadium early. I wait on that line before the game starts. I don't like missing the game. Like so many times, and I get it because like I want to see these people too, but people who are at the games today in other sections are like, oh, like let's meet up somewhere during the game. And I'm like, I don't want to. I like sitting in my seat and watching the game. Like I am there to watch the game. I don't know. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't like wasting time being on a line or not being in the seat I paid for to watch the game. So
I have a couple of drinks in the parking lot. I eat some food out there before I go. And again, also being a guy who doesn't eat meat or dairy, I don't like to say that I'm vegan because like I'm not super strict. If there's like a little bit of butter on some steamed vegetables at a restaurant, I'm not going to like throw it on the floor and get pissed. So I don't claim to be vegan. I just say like I'm mainly plant-based. So like the options for me are kind of limited anyway in the ballpark, but there's no freaking way I'm waiting online for anything. Unless there's no line, I'll go up. Like there is a vegan area in the corner. Kelly went the other day. There's never a line there. Or maybe there might be like 4 people waiting. So I'll do that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is like a thing forever or what they're trying to do, but maybe since they're cashless.
This is a little off topic, but speaking of things that were added to the stadium, I saw, this is really great. April is Autism Awareness Month. And I saw, did you see this? They added like a sensory section for family of people with any type of autism spectrum disorders. If the stadium itself becomes too loud and overbearing, whether it be like the speakers are too loud, the crowd is too loud, there's too many people, whatever, it's kind of just a place for those families to go to decompress, quiet, away from everything. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know whose idea it was, but I love it.
I think Sandy had a couple quotes about it. So if you're watching live, this is on the City Fields Twitter account. It says, we've installed a sensory nook designed to help those with autism, ADHD, and dyslexia escape from the overstimulation that can occur at a major sporting event. And it kind of looks just like a little booth, like a quiet area to sit and chill and get away from like the loud noises and whatever else is going on in the ballpark. So there's a place that my buddy actually became an owner of it. This is completely, well, kind of on topic, but it's a kids play place area out in Riverhead. I think that one is called Safari Adventure. And they have a whole room for kids that may be, in the same boat to just chill. Like the place is crazy. There's like bounce castles and like all things for kids to do there. But there's also like a quiet room if you need to just chill and zone out for a little bit. So there's like soft music playing. It's darker. There's like little couches and stuff in there. And at least when he owned it a couple of years ago or 3 years ago before COVID, it was there. So I don't know if it still is, but definitely a very good idea. Do you remember, I don't know if it was with you or Pete or when I spoke about this, but saying that there should be daycare at ball games?
This might have been me, but I'm not sure. But because go on. I'm listening.
Daycare at like casinos. I'm pretty sure when Kelly and I went to, before we had Amelia, we went to like Mohegan or one of those places in Connecticut. And I'm almost positive there was a daycare area for parents to drop their kids off while they can go gamble. But, I'm not saying that parents should drop their kids off so they can get like sloshed at the game and drive them home.
Right.
But if you're going to do it responsibly and be like, listen, I don't have childcare. My kid doesn't give 2 shits about the game and I want to watch this game. Drop the kids off, watch the game, and then pick them up and bring them home,
For sure.
And they'll have fun. Like the kids might enjoy going to that. Like when Kelly used to
I don't think it's a terrible idea.
No.
Yeah. And I was going to say, because like kids have to reach a certain game before they can handle, or a certain age before they can handle like a full game. Baseball, as much as we love it and we can have the debate until we're blue in the face about if baseball games are too long, for most kids who don't understand the game of baseball, it is too long to have them out there all day and expect whatever. So even if you don't leave your kid there the whole game, if when they're over it, and if you want to watch the end of the game, to have a safe place that you can be like, okay, I'll pick you up when it's over. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I think that's how you grow the game. And then by the time, then kids will still be excited to keep coming to baseball games, whether it's to watch the game or to go play in the fan fest area or whatever the case may be. And then by the time they are a little older, before you know it, they're going to be watching the whole game. And that's how, maybe we just thought of something here. Maybe
I'll have to text Alex after the game and let her know that she needs to do this. So I know we're actually running out of time here. So let me get to last week's giveaway winners, which was for the Jackie Robinson t-shirt that you may have gotten if you went to the ballpark on Friday.
Oh, I do. I have mine right here, actually.
It is the Brooklyn 42 t-shirt jersey. There you go. I love that there's no ads on this at all. like we talked about last week. So we have 2 winners this week. And how you get involved on the giveaway, if you're listening afterwards, you have to go on to either our Facebook account or our Twitter account and share the show on Facebook or retweet on Twitter. And that's how you're put in the running. I'm not going to play the Howie noise because I don't have enough time right now. So that's it. So if you're listening after, maybe you're watching on YouTube and you want to get involved, just go do that. So the winner on Twitter is at CRUSSE10 and on Facebook, Jamie Lee. So shout out to you guys. I will get your address info and send it out. Last week, we gave away the 2 game used balls. I shipped those out yesterday, or Lizzie shipped them out yesterday. Shout out to her for that. So this week, I don't have a photo of this. I don't know if I could pull it up quickly while we're talking, but we are giving away from the Mets 2 of the Francisco Lindor garden gnomes, the bobble gnome.
Oh my God, I want to see what this looks like. Please find the picture. I'm so curious. It's a bobble gnome, right?
Yeah, it is a I saw it at the oh, here we go. Actually, this is my photo. Actually, no, it's not my photo. I took a very similar one when I was at the What's New event. So this is the bobble gnome. It is a garden gnome.
Looks like him.
Oh yeah, it looks great. Do you remember they did like the Nemo gnome years ago?
Yeah.
So it's similar to that, but it's a bobble gnome. So the head's bobble. So we are going to give away 2 of these next week by sharing this week's show. So if you're watching live, you're listening afterwards on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, maybe you ask Alexa to play our latest episode. All you have to do to get in the running is go over to Facebook, our Facebook account, or the Twitter account and retweet the show. And that's how you're put in the running to win. So, another question that I have for you, because you're in this world, do dogs eat their own poop?
Yes.
Why?
They do. Because they're disgusting creatures. Yes.
Is it something?
Unfortunately.
I was almost positive yesterday. I don't know if I was just freaking shot. I was almost positive that Bristol goes in the yard, poops, and then a couple minutes later, I'm like seeing her in the same location, like chewing something, and I was hoping it was like a stick.
Yeah, no, it's very possible. Sometimes they smell their food and their poop, so it's just like an instinct. Yeah, sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason. They just do it. So, hints to help avoid that from happening, you could put meat tenderizer in the food, and there's like things you can put in it that like they won't taste it going down, but when they go to eat their poop, it will.
I don't know.
We always end up talking about poop on this show. We always eat it. There's 3 minutes left.
You're my like human dog expert, and I saw this and was disgusted. And I'm hoping, I don't know for a fact, but I'm hoping it was like a stick or a little rock or whatever. But I was like, oh my God, this is disgusting. People let their dog lick their faces after they like eat their own shit. Anyway, another great episode of Orange and Blue Thing. I don't actually mind the remote. Like I thought I was gonna hate it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, right, so no, I don't hate it. It's fine.
Feel better. Maybe I'll see you next week. If not, we'll just do it like this again. No big deal.
Fingers crossed.
I am racing this weekend, so hopefully that goes well. And thank you. The Mets are going to be in Arizona, and we talked about this last week. I don't have the flyer to promote yet, but the Deuce in Florida, the Deuce in Arizona, where we pre-gamed back in whatever year that was, are doing specials all weekend for Mets fans. As soon as I have the flyer, I will promote it, but you're going to want to go check that out. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Arizona, they're doing a special Mets fan meetup. We're not going to be there, but they enjoyed having us out there so much the last time that they wanted to just hook you guys up. So definitely check them out. Anything else you want to say, Julia?
I don't know. No, I'm good. I need to sleep.
Okay, go to sleep. Maybe I'll see you next week. And I guess that's it.
All right, go Mets.
All right, see you guys.